Okay, we're moving right along. Welcome back, warrior. We are on 2 Nephi chapter 17. And remember, I miscalculated how long things would take me. And so we're trying to cover a bunch of chapters here in one sitting. So chapter 17, Ephraim and Syria wage war against Judah. Christ shall be born of a virgin. Compare Isaiah 7. Okay, and because we're reading verse 17, remind me that we have a read it, live it verse and challenge for the very end. Okay, so it says, verse 1, and it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, and Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up toward Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail against it. Okay, so they wanted Ahaz to join an alliance. And Ahaz is the king of Judah. Okay. And Syria is the king of Israel. So if you didn't understand that, you are not alone. I'm like, who? What? And Reddit Hostess has a little bit of information on here. But it's just mostly like talking about the kings of Israel and Syria wanted King Ahaz to join them and threatened war against Judah if he did not join the alliance. So northern Israel was not yet scattered at this point, and all of these countries who are close together faced a major enemy, Assyria, which was Assyria. And the Bible map number 5 will show you how successful Assyria will end up being in enlarging their nation. Okay, so sometimes some of those things are super cool to like figure out just because it helps you picture certain areas or certain things. But I'm gonna be honest, right now I'm like, let's move on. So verse 2, and it came and it was told the house of David, saying, Syria is confederate with Ephraim, and his heart was moved, and the heart of his people as the trees of the wood are moved with the wind. Then said the Lord unto Isaiah, Go forth now to meet Ahaz, thou and Shear Jashub. Man, I butcher this so hard. Okay. Thy son, his name is Ahaz, and Shear Jashub is the son. Okay, at the end of the conduit of the upper pool in the highway of the fuller's field. And say unto him, Take heed and be quiet, for fear not, neither be faint-hearted, for the two tails of these smoking firebrands or torches, for the fierce anger of Rezin with Syria and the son of Remaliah. Okay, so Ephraim. So in verse 2, Ephraim is the same name. Ephraim in this verse is the same name as northern Israel. Ephraim is the dominant tribe, so it could be used as another name for Israel. When the king heard what was happening, he was moved like trees are moved in the wind, meaning that he was deeply affected. Should not Judah also join with this alliance? And then 3-4, the Lord tells Isaiah to prophesy to Ahaz and counsels him not to join Israel and Assyria, but rather to trust that the Lord will protect Judah from Assyria. Isaiah then goes with his son to meet King Ahaz at the springs or water supply, because the king would be supervising means to protect their water supply. Isaiah uses smoking firebrands to describe the kings of Syria and Israel. Firebrands were torches. In this case, it is the tail of the kings, which have gone out and are now smoking. This represents that their power was not gone, so to align with them would be foolish. Okay, verse 5. Because Syria, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel against thee, saying, Let us go up against Judah and vex it, and let us make a breach therein for us, and set a king in the midst of it, yea, the son of Tabeel. Thus saith the Lord God, It shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass. For the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus Rezin. And within 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, that it be not a people. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Remaliah's son. For if ye will not believe, surely ye shall not be established. Moreover, the Lord spake again unto Ahaz, saying, Ask thee a sign of the Lord thy God. Ask it either in the depths or in the heights above. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, neither will I tempt the Lord. And he said, Hear ye now, O house of David, it is a small thing for you to weary men, but we will be weary. But you will weary my God also. Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil and to choose the good. For behold, the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, and the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both her kings. The Lord shall bring upon thee and upon thy people and upon thy father's house days that have not come from the day that Ephraim departed from Judah, the king of Assyria. And it shall come to pass that in that day that the Lord shall hiss for the fly that is in the uttermost part of Egypt, that for the bee that is in the land of Assyria. And they shall come and shall rest all of them in the desolate valleys and in the hotels of the and in the hotels and in the holes of the rocks and upon all thorns and upon all bushes. In the same day shall the Lord shave with a razor that is hired by them. Behold, the river by the king of Assyria he had, and the hair of the feet, and it shall also consume the beard. And it shall come to pass that in that day a man shall nourish a young cow and 2 sheep. And it shall come to pass, for the abundance of milk they shall give, he shall eat butter. For butter and honey shall everyone eat that is left in the land. And it shall come to pass in that day, every place shall be where there were 1,000 vines at the 1,000 silverlings, which shall be for briars and thorns. With arrows and with bows shall men come thither, because of all the land shall men come thither, because all the land shall become briars and thorns, and all the hills that shall be digged with the mattock, there shall not come thither the fear of briars and thorns, but it shall be for the sending forth of oxen and the treading of lesser cattle. Okay, we have one big quote to read about this. And then I'm going to be honest, we're just going to keep going because I'm already getting so sleepy. And remember, there's no wrong way to read the scriptures. Sometimes you're going to read so fast and just be like, I don't know what else I'm taking in, but it is still worth it. And sometimes we get to dive in and spend a lot of time on super short chapters. And so again, no wrong way to read the scriptures. I love nibbling at the scriptures, finding those nuggets that help me, that will stick with me because we need those things, right? Okay, so Elder Bruce R. McConkie said, Nephi chose to couch his prophetic utterances in plain and simple declarations. But among his fellow Hebrew prophets, it was not always appropriate to do so. Because of the wickedness of the people, Isaiah and others often spoke in figures, using types and shadows to illustrate their points. Their messages were, in effect, hidden in parables. And I just have a comment on that, is that the scriptures have multiple layers, and we can learn from the different layers that the scriptures bring to us at different times in our lives. Okay, so I'm going to keep going on the quote. Quote, for instance, the virgin birth prophecy is dropped into the midst of a recitation of local historical occurrences. So that to the spiritually untutored, it could be interpreted as some ancient and unknown happening that had no relationship to the birth of the Lord Jehovah into mortality some 700 years later. Similarly, many chapters dealing with latter-day apostasy and the second coming of Christ are written relative to ancient nations whose destruction was but a symbol, a type, and shadow of which would fall upon all nations when the great and dreadful day of the Lord finally came. End quote. Elder Bruce R. McConkie, Sermons and Writings of Bruce R. McConkie. Love it. Okay, and then the very last thing that I wanted to read about this chapter is the read it, live it. Because it kind of puts together the two, chapter 16 and chapter 17. So here it is. You can take a screenshot if you want. It's supposed to be for March 1st. Oops, we're a little bit behind. Okay. But we already knew that, right? Okay. It says, one of the names Jesus is given when he is born is Emmanuel. Emmanuel can be translated as God with us. A reminder that he has come down into each of our stories to be with us. Look for him in your story today. Look for him in your story every day, is what I add. Because he is with us. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that he is always having his arms stretched out still to us, no matter what we do. And no matter what's happened to us, he loves us. Okay, so this is the end of chapter 17. So stay strong, and we will see you in the next chapter.